Hello everyone, today I'm going to speak about the last project of Object-Oriented Programming course. We had to do a system to manage the queues of a bank with 3 cashiers and 1 security guard. Before this course, all the tools we had to put things in groups and in order were arrays and lists, and all we had to define a single element in our programs were variables of a certain type, and we did go a little step further when we learned how to use structures. Now we learn how to see everything as objects, because objects can be anything we want inside our program. When we see the elements of the program as an object and not a variable, it gets much more flexible, because it can not only hold information but also characteristics and behaviors, and even other objects. So in detail, the project needed to have 3 queues, 1 outside the bank and 2 inside. The one outside has no limit of people who you can stack in it. The first one inside was to go to the cashiers, and the other one was to wait to exit the bank. Every time you click on the cashiers, one person from this queue would make a deposit and come to the queue to go outside. And every time you click on the guard, one person would come inside the bank to the first queue, and one person in the queue to go out would go out. So that's essentially what we had to do. So let's take a look at what I did. So this is how the program looks like. Here's the security guard, the 3 cashiers, the button to add people to the bank. Here's going to be the outside queue, the inside queue, and the exit queue. Let's take a look at the code. So this is the main class that will do all the work. Here you can see all the functions that will do everything for our program, and here on the last section is the base of our project, which is the client object. It mainly works as a button, but it also has variables to store things like the name of the client and 2 pointers to other 2 clients, the one that is in front of him and the one that is behind him. In this section we set all the parameters of the button, like the image, the size, and all the basic stuff for a button. And in this part we have the event that will trigger when we click one of the clients. What happens will depend on which queue the client is in. So now back to the top of the class. All these variables in here that are of the type Kirby, that will be our client, are the variables that are in charge of keeping the queues in order. So when we add a client to our program, it becomes the first one in the outside queue. So as the first one, it has no one in front of him and no one behind him. Every other client we add after that will be identified as the second client. Oh, and by the way, these queues obey the last in, first out rule. So the new client that we identified as the second one needs to know that the one in front of him is the first one. In this case, the temporal client is equal to the first client. We also tell the new guy that there's nothing behind him because he is in the last part of the queue. After doing all that, the temporal node becomes the second one, so a new second one can come in and we can keep adding and adding and adding new clients to the queue. The rest of the class are all the functions I need for the program to work properly. And all these functions work around the fact that each client is linked to the other client. On the main code, we have all the behavior for the buttons that are the cashiers and the guard and the button to add new clients. Let's see how the program works. Well, these are Kafras from Ragnarok Online, and this is an apocalypse monster from Ragnarok Online as well. Anyway, let's add some new clients to this bank. Here we can also add the clients by name and by numbers. Numbers make it much more quickly to add clients. So when we click the guard, the clients come inside the bank, and when we click the cashiers, the clients go to the cashier and make their deposits. That's how it works. Now that there's people on the exit queue, when we click the guard, people from the exit queue will go outside and people from the outside queue will go inside. There's also the option to remove the clients when you click them. If you click a client, it will ask you if you want to remove it from the queues or just leave it alone. So if you remove one from inside, it goes to the exit queue. And if you try to remove it from there, it will tell you that he is waiting for the guard to give him permission to go outside. And that's it. This was my final project for object-oriented programming course at the university. It works just fine and it looks nice for me. Kirby always looks nice. So all this thinking in objects thing is really useful to work in Unity, because in Unity anything you create, everything you put into your scene becomes a game object. Unity is all about how you manage your game objects. You can put them together, make them more complex, make them simpler, and how every object in your scene interacts with all the other objects. That's how Unity works. And understanding this object philosophy is essential to work in Unity. And that's it for today. Thank you for watching, and remember, I'm always looking forward to your feedback.